What up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm Anthony TV. Look, do me a favor, guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me, like this video, and drop a comment if you got a comment. You already know I appreciate your support. Hey, look, guys, today I'm doing something a little bit different, something I've never done before. I'm gonna be reacting to a video, man. This video right here, man. His name is Referral. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, brother. But we're gonna be reacting to your video today. And basically, guys, what he's doing, he's just talking about food service. And he's talking about whether or not it's worth getting into the food service industry. He's gonna be talking about some pros and cons in this video. He's gonna be talking about the pay and just giving his thoughts on whether or not it's worth getting into the food service industry. And I'm gonna give my thoughts on it as well, all right? So look, man, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video and check out this reaction.
Hello everybody, I'm Avery. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how is it being a food service driver. If you are coming from over the road, is it a good switch? If you're a new driver, is it a good job to get into? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my opinions and my own experience with that. So, you know, stay tuned. Also subscribe because I got other experiences and other jobs that y'all can check out. First off and foremost, let's go ahead and start with the pay. How is the pay at a food service company? Places like US Food, Cisco, Quality, Custom Distribution. Overall, the pay is very good.
All right, man. So right here, as you can see, he's starting off talking about the pay. And you hear what he said, man. Overall, it's very good. He mentioned a few companies, US Food, Cisco, QCD. I would have to agree with that, man. You guys already know, especially if you're in the food service industry, the pay is really good, man. So anybody that's interested in getting food service and you just want to know whether or not the pay is good, I can confirm the pay is good. And you also heard it from somebody else, man. All right, so that's confirmation. Let's get back to the video.
It'll probably, in all honesty, if you don't got any endorsements, it might be one of the highest paying jobs that you can find.
All right, so right there, another thing I like what he said, if you don't have any endorsements and you're trying to stay local and things like that, getting in food service is probably one of the best trucking jobs that you can find, man. And I can 100% agree with that. If you want to stay local and you don't mind doing touch freight, I've said this time and time again, man. Food service might be a good option for you. Let's go and get back into this, man.
Just to give an example, I looked at Cisco, at them hiring here, where I'm at in Virginia, and they are paying somewhere upwards to $85,000. And I looked in two other states. One of them, they was paying up to $100,000, and then the other one, they was paying up to $110,000. Now, obviously, if you're making six figures, that's a lot of money.
All right, man. You seen those numbers, Cisco, 85,000, 75,000, upwards of 110,000. We know we always see those type of numbers posted, but the fact of the matter is you can potentially make that kind of money in food service. That's just a fact, man. There's drivers making that all across the country. So again, when you're talking about the pay and whether or not you can make that money in food service, you can get it, man. You definitely can run up a nice bag in food service, all right? Let's go ahead and get back into this video, man.
And the thing about that is that you don't have to wait, years before you start getting paid that amount of money.
I gotta stop it there because I think that's very key, man. What he just said, you don't have to wait years to make this kind of money. So it's not like a lot of jobs to where you have to be there for a certain period of time and then you start getting raises and things like that. It's not like a traditional job to where that happens in food service. It doesn't matter if you just coming in the door with zero experience, you still have the potential to make that kind of money in food service. I think that's important to note, all right? Let's dive back into it, man.
As soon as you get out of training, then you'll immediately start making that money. When you're training under somebody, you're getting paid per hour, probably like around $20, $21 an hour. Once you start driving by yourself, you got your own route, then you'll be switched to getting paid per case. Let's say, for example, you get paid like 67 cents per case, and then you're dropping off about hundreds of units in a day. So you can average anywhere between like $300 to like $400+ working, 4 or 5 days a week. Let's just go with 5, making about $300 a day, 1,500. Take 1,500 times 52. Let's go ahead and use a calculator real quick on my phone. 1,500 times 52. I don't want to go ahead and get that wrong, but I know I'm in the 70s. $78,000. You also, let me go ahead and say this about, the pay before I talk about anything else, is you might find one of these food service places might give you a sign-on bonus.
All right, so right here, man, what he just said about the sign-on bonus. If you guys been looking at the ads in different food service jobs, a lot of these food service companies are offering sign-on bonuses to come work for them, right? And really, the main reason for that is obviously they want to be very competitive, because a lot of people, especially in this food service industry, a lot of these companies are looking for drivers. And to be honest with you guys, the turnover rate in many cases is very high in this industry. So in order to attract drivers, they offer those type of bonuses, man. So you can find food service companies that are offering $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 sign-on bonuses to do this type of job. Yes, the breakdown as far as getting the money is different from company to company, but at the end of the day, if you stay with the company for a certain period of time, you can collect that full $20,000 sign-on bonus or $10,000 sign-on bonus or whatever it is. All right. So I think that's important too. If you want to get that sign-on bonus, that's what he's talking about right here. But I will say, don't go to a company just because they got a big sign-on bonus. All right. That shouldn't be the only reason you want to work for that company. All right. Let's get back into it, man.
You might get $3,000 sign-on bonus. You might even get $5,000 sign-on bonus. Not only that, but if you refer a friend, they'll give you the exact same amount that they'll give the new driver. For that sign-on bonus, you'll have to be there for a whole year though. You'll get 25% or so after 3 months, then another 25%, 6 months, and then get the rest after the year's up. The reason that they even do sign-on bonuses is because it's a high turnover. And the high turnover rate comes strictly from it's a hard job. It's a hard job. It doesn't even have to be hard for real. The way the companies run this job is that they try to squeeze in as much as they possibly can. So you'll be running close to 14 hours a day every time you get in the truck. On average, let's just say.
All right, man. So he said it's a very hard job, and that's what we just talked about a few minutes ago, as far as the reason that these companies offer these type of sign-on bonuses. And then he stated that, you could be working upwards of 14 hours in some cases, depending on the route, what company you're working for, things like that. I guess I shouldn't say what company you're working for, because every company, I guess, depending on your route, you can work long hours like that. All right, so it's really just depending on the route, how many cases you're going out with, things of that nature. But yeah, man, if you decide to get into food service, there is a great chance that you're going to be working some of these longer hours, man, depending on the route, how fast you are. All of that kind of plays into it. All right, let's get back into it, man.
13 hours a day, right? 13 and a half hours a day. The biggest problem about this, you don't feel like you could take the mandatory 30-minute break to actually sit down somewhere and get you something to eat or relax or whatever, because you are trying to get home. Not only are you trying to get home, but you're trying to make sure that you don't mess up and then you're stuck somewhere at the 14th hour, so somebody else has to come get you. And you might be thinking, well, how do you not take your break? Don't they monitor that? Yes, they do. But what you can do just as easily is once you get to an area, once you get to your next stop, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take my break here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say I'm on break right now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go deliver this. And then once I finish delivering this, because it's more than likely going to take me over 30 minutes to deliver here, I'm going to go ahead and take myself off my break and then put myself as working. And then whatever the rest of the time that it takes me to finish working here, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave it as that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go on my way. So that happens all the time. You're definitely gonna get a workout. That goes without being said. I was at 2 different places where it required hard labor, you know.
Now, a couple things I want to talk about right here. First, I'm gonna go back to what he said about taking a break and being on break, going on duty. I'm sure a lot of drivers do this a little bit differently. Me, when I'm pretty much breaking at a stop, I'm still on duty, but if I need to take a break, take a drink, take a little snack, a little break real quick, I'll do that then while I'm still on duty, kind of working or finishing up a stop. Or you can actually, go on your 30-minute, sit in your truck and eat, or whatever it is that you want to do. Me personally, I pretty much stay on duty. And then, when I'm finishing up the stop or what have you, I still have a little time. I'll eat something, take a little drink or something like that. But I'm still kind of working in the process while I'm doing it. But again, I like to pace myself. I know how to, go about doing that, still being on duty without actually, signing off for 30 minutes to take a break. You can do that, by the way. And if you want to do that, you can. A lot of us, we work differently, right? Some people go ahead and just, take that 30 minutes, sit in the truck, eat whatever it is that they do. And then some of us, we stay on duty while we break at the same time. So I guess it's really up to the individual on that. All right.
I was doing a moving company. I was truck driving for a moving company, which like I said, you should be able to see up here somewhere, in which case I talk about the pros and cons of truck driving for a moving company. But I also did food service. And I can say hands down that doing moving furniture is easier. It's an easier job than doing food service. Obviously, you got to be out in the rain. If it rains.
As you guys heard right there, he said that he actually was moving furniture before, right? That was one of his jobs, moving furniture. And he compared that to doing food service. And in his opinion and what he said is that food service was a much harder job than delivering furniture. All right. Again, man, food service is definitely a very physical job. No doubt about it. It's physically demanding. So look, before you get into it, you gotta know what you're getting into, right? Before you actually get into this game, because don't just think about the money. There is a lot of work involved into making this money. All right, so that's important to note as well. Let's get back into it.
If it snows, you gotta be out in the snow. You don't get any holidays off. The only real holidays you get off is Christmas and Thanksgiving. Anything other than that, you're gonna be working.
All right, he talked about the weather conditions. You gotta be out in the rain, you gotta be out in the snow. All of these things are things that I've mentioned in previous videos that I've made on my channel, right? That is something to consider when getting into this game, man. You will be working in different weather conditions. So understand and know that, man. So that's something that you really have to take in consideration when choosing to get into this game. All right, let's get back into it. We almost done.
So you can expect that. You can try to take some days off, but those go directly by seniority. So, the seniors get to pick what days they want off first. Let's also talk about the times that you're working.
All right, so another thing he talked about here as far as taking days off and things like that, he said that a lot of times it goes by seniority, right? He said the senior drivers kind of get those days off. I'll be honest, at least at my location, I can't speak for everybody else's, but I know when it comes to taking days off, a lot of times we just have to let our managers know, like, okay, we need this day off, or I need this day off. And if nobody else has it off, we can, request that day off. In most cases, we get those days off. It doesn't matter if you're a senior driver or a new driver, right? As long as we give them, enough notice and nobody else has any days requested off during that time period, he's pretty good about working around that and getting us those days off. I can't speak for, you know, all the other companies or everybody else, but I know at my location specifically, our, you know, transportation manager does a pretty good job of, you know, allowing us to get certain days off if we request those days ahead of time, all right? Regardless of seniority. But that's just my experience. Let's get back into it.
Because you're not going to be working you're not going to start working at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. That's rare. And that's very dependent on the specific stores that you're going to at that point in time. For the most part, you're going to be either early morning or you're going to start in the afternoon. You don't have to worry about maneuvering around people.
All right, man. So he talked about the hours that you work in this food service game, which I think is also important. He said, you know, you're not going to be working at like 6, 7, all 8 in the morning and all that. For food service drivers, that's kind of going out at 6 and later. For food service drivers, it's kind of late in the morning to be going out. Usually we kind of go out, you know, anywhere from midnight to say 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? If you're going out past 6 in food service, in most cases, that's kind of late. So you'll go out at those times, or if you're on, say, like a 2-day route or something like that, you know, for like chain account drivers, you may go out at night, like 10, 11, 12, anywhere from 10 to 12 midnight. Me personally, like I said, on my second day, I usually start my route around midnight. Sometimes I start around 11 o'clock at night. So it just depends right there, all right? Let's go ahead and get back into it, man.
Well, but at the same time, you got to open the stores yourself and, you know, get the alarms and stuff like that where, you know, it's just easier to have, you know, whoever's there to just open the door for you. So you ain't got to worry about that. I'd have to make like a whole new playlist of just random truck driving stories in order to get through all the stories I got. So maybe I'll do that. I'll seriously think about that. And with all that being said, I mean, I ain't want this to be too long, but at the same time, this did end up being longer than I wanted. So sometimes it just happens like that. But hopefully you was able to get through it. And if you did, hey, and you end up still liking the video, why don't you go ahead and actually press the like button so other people can see this.
All right, man, so we're gonna cut it off there. Look, shout out to Robbio Freight for making this video. A lot of what you said, I definitely agree with 100%. As you stated, you actually have done food service before, so, you know, you speaking from somebody who has experience doing this job. And like I said, a lot of what you said, I definitely agree with. So very good video on your part. I appreciate you for sharing this information and putting this content out there for everybody else that's maybe interested in looking at this content. They can look at it and then speak from their own perspective. So definitely good video, brother. Appreciate you for making this. I think it's definitely a good source for people interested in getting into food service. They can look at it and then just draw their own conclusions on whether or not they want to get into this food service game, all right? So look, guys, that's the end of my reaction on this video. Let me know what you guys think. Should I do more of these reactions on different food service channels? I think that's what I'm gonna do. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know in the comments, all right? Look, guys, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Do me a favor, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me, man. Like this video and drop a comment if you got a comment. Until next time, I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.